This season, the Southern League Premier Division Central has been one of the most competitive and unpredictable leagues in the country. So much so that I'm in the process of visiting all 22 grounds and ranking them out of 40 points, based on a number of factors which I'll go into more detail about later in this video. So far, I've visited 17 of the 22, with Worcester City's impressive Six Ways Stadium leading the way with 33 points, and Bromsgrove Sporting's Victoria Ground in second place with 31. How would ground number 18 compare to the other 17? Well, to find out, I had to make the trip down to Hertfordshire, on the border with Cambridgeshire. Episode 18 comes from Garden Walk, the home of Royston Town, and this one is a bit of a mismatch as far as the league table's concerned, as it's bottom of the table Royston Town against top of the table Spalding United. Royston Town can't seem to buy a win at the moment, and they're rooted to the bottom and 11 points from safety, while Spalding United have been in the top two for most of the season, and they're in a title fight with Harbour Town, and now it looks like Rail Bedford are also joining that title race. I was at the return fixture at the Sir Helly Stewart Field at Spalding as United won 4-0, but will we see a bit of a shock result today, and can Royston Town get something, or will this be a routine Spalding United victory? Royston Town's Garden Walk opened in 1931 and has a capacity of 5,000, including seating for around 300 spectators, along the touchline and behind the goal on the far side of the ground. Royston Town are the third oldest club in Hertfordshire, behind Hitchin Town and Bishop Stortford, and they're celebrating their 150th anniversary this season. But their century-and-a-half anniversary season hasn't exactly gone to plan, with the Crows going into Saturday's game bottom of the Southern League Premier Central and 11 points adrift of safety, having only won 3 games all season. But despite relegation looking highly likely, there still seems to be a lot of optimism at the club. By contrast, visitors Spalding United arrived at Garden Walk top of the table, and the league's leading scorers, having already scored 81 goals this season, and they're in an intense title race with Harbour Town and potentially Rail Bedford. Could Royston Town cause an upset here? They are running out of games, so need to start finding a way to win if they're to defeat the odds and stay up. I spoke to Royston Town chairman Steve Jackson ahead of the visit of Spalding. Firstly, what are your thoughts on the season so far for Royston Town?
It obviously hasn't been a great season when we're propping up the table, but it's been a frustrating one because we've been in so many games, but we take the leading games, but just can't see it out. And we've dropped, I think it's now 30 points from winning positions this season. So, you can't afford to do that and expect to compete in the league, but that would make a hell of a difference. I know you wouldn't win all those points, but I still expect every Monday I go into work and they go, "How was the game?" Okay, we were in it. We deserve something out of the game, and you're going in, you've lost 2-1 or 3-2, and so it's been a very frustrating season.
I think I said something similar because my last Royston game was the return of this. It was at Spalding.
Oh, okay.
And it ended up 4-0.
Yeah.
But I thought you were in the game until Spalding took the lead just before half-time, and then they came out a different side in the second half.
No, absolutely. We knew that was always going to be a tough place to go. But I thought we competed well. We conceded the goal just before half-time, and we knew that it was a mountain to climb. But
Yeah, and it's from other sources as well. I've heard people have said, Royston played well, they dropped points again. So the league position does seem like a bit of a false position, but you can't deny the fact that you are in the bottom 4. And what are the survival chances looking like? Are you still feeling confident of staying in this league?
The survival chances are very, very slim. I don't look that you're probably 12 points from the 5th from bottom. I look upon it that we need 45 points. To get 45 points, we need to win 9 of 11 games, and the likelihood of that is you've got to be realistic. You can be a dreamer and say, look, we're still in it, we can still achieve this. But from my point of view, I'm looking at next season now. We're looking at our players, who we want to retain, who we can look to bring in with the view of going down and winning the league next year and coming straight back again.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the ambitions are for next season should you get relegated. Is it a case of...
No, it's definitely... We want to bounce straight back. We're hoping if we do go down that it'll be the Southern League Central that we go into. But geographically, we could go National Midlands League, or we could even go Isthmian League North. But hopefully, we'll stay in the Southern League, Southern Central. Be a lot of local games. We know a lot of the players, know a lot of the teams. So our analysts already know a lot about them, and we just feel that we would, if we can retain most of our squad, we know that we would be very competitive at that level.
And on to today's game then, it doesn't get any easier, does it? We've got the visit of Spalding United going well and topping the table at the moment. What are your thoughts going into this one?
It was the beginning of the season. As soon as we knew that that Jimmy was in there, we knew the budgets that they've got with them, with Real Bedford, with Harborough. We just know financially the league doesn't lie as far as budgets go. You often get a team that might underperform or overperform as far as budgets, but technically, at the beginning of the season, a manager came in and he said to us, realistically, from a budget point of view, we're bottom 10. So we're going to be in the bottom 10. And I think as the season's gone on, more and more clubs are throwing more and more money at it, which we won't mortgage the club to do that. We look after our players. We're very fair with our players, but we won't break the bank to survive. It will be what it will be. But good luck to them. Good luck to them. And they got a wealthy owner, and if the guy has got aspirations to get in the National League or higher, then fair play to him.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on, Steve. All the best today.
You're welcome.
All the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
I arrived at Garden Walk a couple of hours ahead of kick-off and was greeted by club secretary Terry, who showed me around the boardroom and gave me this book about the history of Royston Town, which is a great read. I had my usual walk around the ground, picked up this 150th anniversary pin badge and a beanie hat before sampling the food. That burger was decent, but I'll tell you my full rating of it at the end of this video. So out come the two teams, with bottom of the table Royston Town in black and white and league leaders Spalding United in blue. And by the first half you couldn't tell who the league leaders were. So it'll be
Crazy league.
It's a great league. It'll be a chance.
Go on. Oh. Good shot. Good tackle. Great.
Is that a pen?
I think it is. Safe. Ooh. Can you hit that?
Half-time score, Royston Town 0, Spalding United 0.
Half-time, Royston Town 0, Spalding United 0, in a very good first half from the home side. There did seem to be an air of vulnerability about Royston at the back, but going forward they looked dangerous. Maybe the psychological effects of losing games when playing well have started to impact them on the pitch. Half-time fun fact, in 2025 Royston Town released a home shirt inspired by some ancient carvings found in a cave nearby, which are believed to be linked to the Knights Templar. The white home shirt featured faint artwork which is certainly unique, and have you ever heard of anything like that before? If you're enjoying this video, now's the time to hit the like and subscribe. Your support keeps me motivated to continue making these videos, and it really helps this channel to be seen. On to the second half then, and could Spalding United break the deadlock? Rare for it to be a low scoring game involving Spalding.
Block. Good block.
Oh!
Offside, wasn't he? Oh!
Expects them to. I just don't think they would, because this.
Ooh, good save. Oh no, oh no, oh no,
A great finish from Yusufu Cisse put Spalding in front, and could Royston Town fight back to get anything from this game? Minutes later, their task was made even more difficult.
And the first goal has been scored by Spalding United, number 11, Yusufu Cisse.
Oh! Town captain Adam Murray was sent off for a second yellow card just a couple of minutes after they'd fallen behind, and surely the outcome of this game would turn into a bit of a formality for Spalding. Well, and boost the social media, boost the presence, and oh, what a goal! What a goal this is! A great strike to put the game out of reach, and Spalding United on course for another valuable 3 points.
Second goal for Spalding.
Final score, Royston Town 0, Spalding United 3, in a game played in typical Royston Town fashion by the sounds of it. They matched Spalding in that first half before giving away a simple goal early in the second half and going on to lose 3-0. I spoke to Royston manager Chris Waters to give his thoughts after the game. Royston Town 0, Spalding United 3. Firstly, what were your thoughts on that game?
I think I owned the scoreline. We went down to 10 with at 1-0. Could have quite easily sat in and put men behind the ball, but that doesn't get us 3 points. So thought we'd go for it. I think really good first half from us. I felt that maybe had a little bit of the ascendancy with chances, and then we've conceded from 3 throw-ins. So it's just second phase, not marking, lack of experience, lack of extra body to create the second and third, I suppose. But yeah, listen, it was a free hit for us today. Especially without boring you with all of our injury issues. It was a bit of a free hit, and we'll have lads available and fit for next week is where we probably need to try. And if we want to sustain our step 3 status, we've got to try and take a result next week.
And I think 0-0 at half time, like you said, I think you probably did edge the play there. But even when you go 1-0 down, you go man down, you're still in the game. And fair play to the lads for still going at 1-0 down to go and try and get a result there.
Yeah, listen, they're a hell of a side, really good players. I don't think they opened us up in open play. Ultimately, it's 2 throw-ins for them, 1 throw-in for us, where we've made inexperienced errors, maybe. But in terms of open play element of it, I thought that we gave a really good account of ourselves, and the amount of people we speak to that say, "Oh, you bottom the league." Well, we find a way to lose, unfortunately, and we've managed to do that today. We spoke about it at half time, and I don't know, maybe it becomes a little bit of a thing in the end. But yeah, I think despite the scoreline, you'll read that on paper and what it looks like. And Royston have been done 3-0. We could have kept it 1-0 quite comfortably, I think, but that don't benefit anyone. So we made attacking changes to try and go for it, and it's what we have to do when we're in the situation we're in.
And how frustrating is it to hear people keep saying, "Oh, you're in a false league position and you've been playing well but still losing games"? How frustrating is that?
It is. It's nice to hear. It's nice to know that does it validate you? Probably not. It's just nice to hear. Unfortunately, we've been really good in games, and there's sliding door moments that have ended up costing us the points, or we're forced into changes because of injuries. And I said to you off camera, we had 12 missing on Wednesday, and I've wondered what kind of side would go out, and 4 have managed to rule themselves in. So it helped the load. So considering everything, league position, difference in statures of clubs, player availability, like that's all nice for us, and there's positives in that. Unfortunately, points wins you games, doesn't it, and keeps you in leagues, and we just haven't found a way to gain points in games. So yeah, we're really nice at football for large spells, and then is that the Bury came here a couple of weeks ago and they battered us. Even though the scoreline today, I don't feel like we've been battered. Harbour last week, I don't feel like we were battered. Rail Bedford, we weren't battered. But so I think Bury, Alverchurch, and Spalding second half up at their place were the 3 times where I think, you know what, like we've not done anything today.
Even at Spalding, like I was at the previous fixture at Spalding, I felt like you matched them in the first half, but they had, I think it was kind of a lucky goal with the ball ricocheting to Bart Sobolski in the first half, and then there was a moment where you almost took the lead, and I was thinking like, how are these bottom? But then you go on to lose 4-0. It's
they were outstanding second half, and the killer is, so that first goal was 5 minutes into injury time of the first half. Going in at 0-0 is a really different landscape. When you're going in 1-0 down, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. And we left chances, we left spaces open for them to take chances. However, we got nowhere near them second half. I thought they were excellent up there. Probably the best team I've seen at step 3 for a long, long time in that 45-minute period. We do well in games. We just don't do quite well enough, and it is what it is.
And at what point do you start thinking, right, we need to start preparing for step 4? Obviously, mathematically, you can still stay up. At what point is it like, does it become too much to stay in the division?
We're quite forward thinking as a staff, so we started looking at different scenarios at Christmas. So we've put a dossier together of what step 3 survival looks like, what we have to look like next year if we're in this league, and then what we have to look like if we are in step 4. The hard bit will be is if we do go down, we don't know whether we go into the Isthmian or the Southern, or whether we even get dragged into the Northern. I don't know. God forbid, not that one. So it's hard to fully plan until you know that, but you don't learn that until late. But that obviously dictates.
Yeah.
A little bit like Hitchin the other year, obviously got the reprieve and they'd signed for step 4. We could go and sign a load of lads for the Southern, and then we get put into the Isthmian, and then it's a completely different geography that the lads have got to work in. So yeah, we do it all the time. We've got a recruitment department that work really hard at trying to find different options at different levels. So yeah, we're always trying to look and make sure that we're not planning. Once that R goes next to our name, it's already started, to be fair.
Chris, appreciate you coming on.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming to the club.
No problem at all. It's been a good day despite the result, and all the best for the rest of the
cheers,
season.
Mate. Thank you.
How are Royston bottom of that league? Well, according to manager Chris Waters, they just find a way to lose games, and I think that's very much the case. I've seen Royston twice now this season. Admittedly, both were against Spalding, who are top of the league, and in both games they more than matched Spalding in the first half. 1-0 down in the first game back in Spalding a few months ago, but today 0-0 at half time, and I think Royston probably had the better chances in that first half. Spalding go and take the lead early in the second half. Royston go down to 10 men. I thought it was going to be a bit of a rout at that point, the way Spalding were playing. But Royston again, they went for it. They gave it their all. They were trying to get a result from the game. In the end, Spalding were too good. And I really feel for Royston Town because they're not a bad side, but yet they find themselves bottom of the table. And this league is just so punishing. You cannot afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to give teams chances. And that's inevitably what's happening to Royston Town this season. They're not putting their chances away. They're getting punished. They're dropping points. And now they find themselves 13 points adrift. As I said, I do really feel for them because they're lovely people at Royston. I've got a lot of time for that club. It's a really nice ground and a good place to watch football with a really welcoming vibe there as well. So it looks like they are going to drop into step 4, but let's hope they do bounce straight back. But let me know in the comments, can Royston Town still stay in this division? And will Spalding win the league? Or is someone else going to take the title? Before I jump right in with these stadium rankings, let's take a look at what that result does to the league table. I don't think anyone expected Royston to get anything out of this game, and pre-match predictions included a 7-0 loss, but that defeat puts them even further behind at the bottom of the league, now 13 points adrift, and with 10 games remaining, can they still keep themselves in this division? Spalding United remain 4 points clear at the top of the table, but with both Harbour Town and Rail Bedford having games in hand, this could be an intense finish to the season at the top of the table. Who wins the title and who goes up through the playoffs? Let me know in the comments, and let's take a look at what I thought of Garden Walk as a whole. I'm ranking each club out of 5 points for their atmosphere, playing surface, food, facilities, view and accessibility, with a further 10 points on offer for my matchday experience overall, meaning each club is being scored out of a total of 40 points. And after visiting nearly all of the league, we have Worcester City's Sixway Stadium in the lead with 33 points, and Bromsgrove Sporting second with 31. Could Royston Town's Garden Walk break into that cluster of teams at the top end of the table? Let's start with the atmosphere. Royston Town are one of the friendliest clubs I've been to this season, and for the size of the town, they're well supported. Atmosphere-wise though, with such an open stadium, it was difficult for the 355 in attendance to generate much noise, so they will score towards the lower end of the table in this department, and I'm giving them a 2.5 out of 5. What about the playing surface? Well, I'm not going to be too harsh here as the weather has been awful in recent weeks and Royston Town have been very good at getting games played rather than postponed. But this does have to be one of the muddier pitches I've seen this season. It didn't cut up as much as Bishop Stortford's, but it also didn't hold up as well as the likes of Rail Bedford or Bromsgrove Sporting. But once again, Royston avoided that postponement, so I'm giving them 3 out of 5. Food-wise, Royston Town have a van just inside the entrance to the stadium which serves hot food and drinks. I'm sure you'll be surprised to know I had a cheeseburger, which didn't look like it was going to be anything special, but I actually really liked it. It was juicy and fresh with a crusty bun, so it does fall a little short of the likes of St Ives, but that's still a high-scoring 3.5 out of 5. Here's where I think Royston Town will score the highest though, the facilities. When you first arrive at Garden Walk, it doesn't look as though there's a lot there, but then you go into the main clubhouse bar and it's huge. There's plenty of space to grab a pre-match drink and watch football on TV, and the boardroom sits inside a converted storage unit. I really like the facilities here. And also, I have to mention the meat raffle that they do. Apparently after every Saturday match, they have a local butcher give them fresh meats to raffle off. It's a bit of a tradition which is unique to Royston Town. I'm giving them 4 out of 5 for their facilities. View-wise, Garden Walk doesn't have a lot of obstruction apart from in their main stand where the pillars really do affect the viewing space, but anywhere else you can find a clear view of the pitch. One thing this stadium is lacking is elevation, as all of their seating and terraced zones sit quite low to the ground. But I can't really complain. I had a great view of the pitch, so I'm giving them 3 here. Accessibility wise, I'm not just talking about disabled access, but how easy these stadiums are to get to and move around in while you're there. And while there isn't any parking available for supporters at Garden Walk, there is plenty of street parking nearby, as the ground sits right in the middle of a housing estate. And due to its location in the town of Royston, it's a really easy ground to get to. In terms of disabled access, I didn't see a designated supporter area, and although some of the stands could be difficult to navigate for people with mobility issues, this is an extremely easy stadium to get around in, so they get another solid 3 out of 5. This next section is arguably the most important as it's worth 10 points, and that's my experience overall. Did I enjoy my time at Garden Walk? Yes, I did. Were the club friendly and accommodating? Absolutely. Garden Walk is a nice stadium with extremely welcoming staff and volunteers, and despite the club's dreadful league position, there was still an air of positivity around the place, which just goes to show how passionate this group of people are about their football club. The game itself was scrappy but entertaining, and once again I thought Royston played better than their league position suggested, yet they fell to another defeat. If you haven't been to Garden Walk, it's well worth a visit, and I'm giving them 7 out of 10 for their matchday experience overall. What does that do to the final table then? Royston Town scored a very respectable 26 out of 40, which puts them just behind Redditch United in 14th place. But what did you think of where I ranked them? Was I too harsh, or did I overscore the Crows? Let me know in the comments. Next up for me is a ground I've been trying to get to for a few weeks now, as episode 19 of this series comes from the Banbury Plant Hire Community Stadium, as Banbury United take on Stratford Town. Let's hope this time this one goes ahead. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you've enjoyed this video, and why not take a look at the rest of the series? You can see it on screen right now. Diddle-a-diddle-a-doo.